welcome back everyone. Here we are starting up on day 7 of this build. I'm just finishing this, looking at this. I'm still very pleased with how our little room turned out with our bookshelf and our table and whatnot. I think it's really going to be a nice detail wherever it eventually ends up. But if you're new here, this is what I do. I buy these kits and build them step by step, mostly in real time. You get to see all my successes and all my failures, and how I hopefully fix those inevitable failures. Upload daily and just trying to have a good time. We're not solving the world's problems, we're just building silly little models and having a bit of fun. If you see any kits or builds or sets you want me to take a shot at, feel free to drop in the comments, because I'm always looking to add onto my list. And I've got the most intelligent audience on YouTube because y'all provide me with nothing but the best options. But that being said, we're ready to jump back into building here, and start off with another batch of tiny pieces. And I've been using this little board to put any extra small pieces that we're not going to install right away in place, which is going to be some of these, I believe, at some point. But that's off to the side. Like I say, I finally figured out if I glue something to the base, it's easier to work with than trying to hold it in my hands. It only took me like 3 years of doing this, and I get to cut out a stencil too, so I'm always looking forward to that. But let's see. First things first, we want to get to going on building a broom, which I've had very limited luck with building the brooms. Seems like I get out of whack on all of them somehow. Never looks as good as it does on the picture. But it's going to be, I think we're going to bookend with the broom because it's reliant on the glue drying and trimming it up after the fact. But start off with 4 of these guys, and we're supposed to unwind them, split them up, and make 8. So, it comes apart reasonably easy once you get a hold of one of the ends. And I think as far as mounting it to the broom, I think hot glue is going to be the way to go. Like I said, I've done 2 or 3 in this style, and they were actually bigger, so I have had a little more optimism about those. So let's say, get out my handy dandy new cordless hot glue gun, which jury's still out, but I think it's going to end up being a good addition to my arsenal of building toys or tools. I get toys and tools; they're sort of interchangeable with me. And supposedly it heats up in 15 seconds until it's ready to go. And I'm not sure. Okay, have to act quick. Make sure I get the right end as well. So that's okay. And how little I can get on there. Get a couple of pieces into the glue. Nope. And I think it's already dried off on me. So actually, that's not on. Okay, that might be. Once again, the scale of this set is going to end up getting me. Okay, so maybe hot glue gun is not the way to go. Let me try, I guess, back to the old super glue. I don't know about getting 8 of these pieces around that tiny little piece there, but I'll make an effort at it. And I'm going to upgrade to more powerful specs as well. Alright. Now, super glue, give a few seconds to play with. Let me clean off my hot glue here. I think that's most of it. See a little. Alright. Let's see if I can get my tweezers handy too, because I think they're going to be more useful than me trying to do it by hand. Okay, let's get a just a dot on the end here. And of course, sticking to the tweezers. Okay, we went around the corner, so I'll go with that. Maybe. Let's see if it glues to me or the stick. Me. Okay. Okay. New plan. Let's see if I can put 3 or 4 of these together and maybe do them all at once. And get them to sort of go in like that. Drop on the end here. I don't think I'm going to be able to do them one at a time onto that stick for sure. Together without sticking to me. Okay. Appears to be fairly stable there. And they're going all out on the making it look like the Nimbus 2000 or whatever it was from Harry Potter, and I'm definitely suspicious about that. Okay, so put those guys together. Let's see if I can't. These 3 stuck on this side. Then I'll do 3 more on the back side, then top and bottom. Maybe by then I'll have something down in rhythm. Okay, so glue flowing again. There it goes, finally. There. Okay. Well, that definitely seems more solid than it was before. So, got 3 more. Getting them all up. Or drop them everywhere. Okay. Okay, so get you there, sort of. In theory, we're going to be able to trim up the back end to make it more aerodynamic or whatever. That comes after we got the bristles on. Dabs all around. Squeeze back here. Yeah. Give me a little fairly flat surface there too when I squeeze them down with the tweezers. So that's added bonus. Try and clean my tweezers off a little bit here, maybe. Okay, now onto the other side of my broom back here. Try to get the right end. Yeah, so like so. Oh yeah, I wasn't quite 100% out. Okay. Maybe going a little bit high with the bristles, but yeah, I absolutely did. I think I was feeling like on the last millimeter of this thing, so I'm not gonna try that. Okay, now get the middle, little separation there. Get the last, just pop those in on either side, maybe. Okay. Then we get to do some weird stuff after that, so. Okay, that down in there. And so, there you go. Oh, I lost that one. Okay. And a little more gap on the bottom here. It's already fairly exposed, so let's get my glue flowing. In there. Now, if that's all in place, supposedly, well actually there's another step too, but they want us to sort of spread our bristles out and drop some glue into the end, and then we squeeze it back together, then we trim that up to make it look like they're saying it will look. So we'll find out together if that works or not. I think I'm going to go to the B7000 for that, which means we'll wait a little bit till the end. Maybe not to the end, but we're going to give it a few minutes to let this glue situate. Definitely got some tacky on my fingers now. And let's see, that's a side angle, so I think we want it more like that, according to what they want us to do with it. So I'm going to sort of flatten it top to bottom. Okay, I'm not sure about all that, but that's what we're going to work with. I just messed it up by sitting it down on the bristles. Okay, now I'm going to get a little more mechanical with it. Okay, that I'd actually go somewhere. Got it cut. The glue will hold it that flat. I don't want to get optimistic yet, but I'm at the very beginnings of optimism that it might work. Okay, but now we need the gold band that supposedly goes around the top of the bristles. So yeah, I got a little sheet of, I don't know if it's considered gold leaf or not, gold tinted paper. I'm supposed to, yeah, I can't see that on this side, you have to go to the other side. Cut that shape out of, y'all can't even see that either, okay. Depending on how the paper folds, that shape out without destroying the gold paper. Less optimistic about this going well. Let's see what happens if I can not cut myself. I can hold everything in place, maybe. Okay, that should be disconnected. Okay, moved on a bit. All the glare is not making this easy. Let's see. Okay. Less light for me to see with, but it shows up much better for y'all. Okay, I'm just gonna roll with that, I think. Yep. Okay. Okay, that has some wonky angles on either end, but I think that's pretty close to what they want us to do with it. And I've had, like the rest of the broom build, I've had absolutely zero luck getting this stuff mounted onto our broom, but it's evidently now it goes the other way. Okay. Supposed to wrap it around this piece. I think it's a little collar or whatever you want to call it for. Okay, so I think that'll work. I can get it to anchor down right at the top of the bristles. And we'll see how it goes from there. Curved towards the top of the handle. A little pressure there. Okay. Okay. Not beautiful, but better than I've done in the past. To line up with itself and okay. Got these short bristles on this one. Let's see if I can get that in without letting go. want to stick to itself. Okay, there, finally got a little. Okay, so it's not the best, but better than I've usually do here. It's not sticking. Okay, finally got it down. Yeah, I think that's. Let's see if we can do some shaping here. It feels fairly stable. Let's see, this one we got Nimbus 2000, 3000 shape on the tail end. Okay. As far as the brooms that I've made go, that's pretty good. Okay, that's satisfactory, I'd say. And one of those things at this scale where it's going to be, I think it'll be alright. Now, let's make some other doodads. So, there. Let's feel less colorful back plate. This and there's a tiny red guy and our little wire. Okay. Okay, looks like let's do 5 or 6 loops here. Sort of maybe spread them out. Okay, maybe spread them out more than that. About like that. That's reasonable representation, I'm going to call it. And the gold flake insulation is coming off there too, but we're going to live with that. And supposedly this little guy going to live on the end here. I don't know whether it won't give us beads that fit onto the wire. Okay, so trying to glue it in. Drop on the end here. PDF. There it goes. And get a hold of you. Fire up. Okay. Okay, there we go. I think that little peeled insulation, or what you want to call it, actually is not a bad extra look for it. That's what I'm going to tell myself. Okay. That went quicker than I thought it would, so cool. Now, got this guy, these two. Okay. Just to take off the insulation on there. It would work better if it went the other way, according to the picture. Okay, it is sliding around on me now, so I'm going to leave it be. But that's about where we wanted it to go to, where it wasn't uniform. Let's see if we can get this in here, get straightened out a bit. Okay. Now these guys go on the black end, supposedly. Once again, get my confidence. They're just doing this to mess with my confidence, I think. See how much I can glue myself to things here. Okay. Going away. I think plan B. See if I got anything good in my leftover beads box. It'd be more appropriate for this. Ooh, wasn't this? I just saw a silver one. It went away. The tweezers here. Thought I saw a silver one. Maybe there's a white one. Ooh, there's one. There's a good white one that'll go. I think it'll fit over the. Let's see. Get you down into the. Yeah, that goes on the end, so that's my new. My new design choice. If I can get. Yeah, I'm gonna have it. That's what I'm gonna end up doing, I think. Okay, so that calls for B7000. A little more maneuverable. Spin. And set you down to dry. I just gotta go with what physics and the real world allows me to do. Now, I think. Now we gotta sort of. Okay. Let me get back to my box of leftover beads. And this calls for a gold one, and I know there's some gold ones in here. Actual beads, rather than those little. They want us to use the little cut-offs of the string. So this is my plan. And once again, we're supposed to strip just a tip off the edge. I'm not sure what the design choice is on that, but that's actually pretty close to what they've got. Toss this over here. Give me 7,000. Okay. Reasonable facsimile of what they made, so I'm okay with that. Now I think we're going to move over to our little standing dealio and start assembling things on it, because it doesn't look like we're going to put these things in place anytime soon. So let's get a dab B7000. Top corner will be a good place for it. Little blue bead goes on to that. Another dab on top. And the brass nail is supposed to go down on that, I think. So, alright. Now, this one's, the picture confuses me on this one because it shows a square, but it's saying just these two pieces. So maybe it looks like a square once you put the circle in it. Doesn't look like it's gonna. It's making a little clock. Yeah, that's sort of. Yeah, I guess it does sort of resemble the final picture. So this one. I think I'll get a drop to go in. Double duty on it. Okay. Okay, I take it back. That is what it sort of looks like in the picture. Cool. Okay. I'll get to make another framed picture. In theory, it's sticking to me when I don't want it to, and not doing it when I do want it to. Okay. Okay, it's got okay, it's got one of those invisible strings on it. Okay. That's why it's going. I'm assuming that's why it's going crazy. It just could be that it hates me. Got a picture of some towers and cities, maybe Hogwarts. Who knows? And I think I did super glue on this one before. I think I'd be doing that last picture anyway. Now I can get a hold of you. Just go over. Not how I intended to do it, but there we go. It's stuck. And also stuck over here. But it didn't peel off on there. So okay, we got a picture in there. And just two more, and we get to a little bit. I'm gonna try and build a staircase tonight too. If I don't, famous last words. I don't think it's gonna be that bad. Okay, so I set you there, and red gemstone bead in place. And you get brass screws to go on the top. There. Probably gonna stick to my tweezers, so let's see what happens if I can just get it by hand. Nope, stick to me too. Okay. Escapee from my box of beads. Okay. That seems to be sort of doing its thing. Now, same thing here. Got less goop on my nozzle, maybe. Okay, it did not do what I wanted it to. I'll drop you up straight up, but it didn't. Then I couldn't stop myself from touching it. Okay. A little more cooperative than the other one. Cool. That's always nice. Okay, so that is the end of that step of making a bunch of tiny pieces. They're called small accessories, so I'm going to set you aside, hopefully to dry. And let's see what we got in the way of... Somewhere I've got an exposed... Okay, X-Acto knife out. Now, there's 2 sets of stairs in here, so maybe I'll get ambitious. Where are we at? Almost 40 minutes. Yeah. We'll see how the first set goes, then decide on the second one. The second one's simple. This should be relatively simple. Let's just you. Yeah. Ooh. I just saw that the second set's a lot more complicated than I thought it was. Okay. So these 3. Where do these go? Okay. Okay, so these are the pieces we need for this one. Starting off with building us... Actually, we're doing a cabinet. I thought this was part of the staircase. It's not. So we're just going... This is... Yep, going... Goes underneath the long bit. This goes on top. So in there. Come out. Eventually. There it goes. That is pushed in. And nice. Push that. Yeah. Okay. And rinse and repeat. Okay. A few more seconds there. Okay, guess that done. And they say to put this on top first, but I'm going to put, this is our front. I'll put this on, and then I'll put the top on. I'll get in here with some light, see which way it's up. Okay. Looks like the extra thickness part's the base, I think. So it goes in, I think it goes like so. Let me do it again. Yeah, so I'll do like that. Flash, yeah. That lines up pretty good, so let's just do a few dots. On the edges here. Won't take much. All the way down, pressure. Alright. Couple more seconds here, make sure we get everything pressured. Okay. And that turned out really nice too. Nice flush edges most of the way around. I think look like maybe no, just a trick by the okay, a little proud on top there, but I think once we put the paper on, we'll be in good shape on that. And for paper, it calls for B7000. Just dots down there. And we'll swizz around, back and forth. Yeah, I think that's definitely a way to put that on first, because you don't have to worry about it hanging over there and you got something to push up against. Like they'd had that little lip there that was just about perfect for the paper. Yeah, okay, that was good. Alright. I give myself a pat on the back on that one. That went together a whole lot better than I thought it would. Okay, so that's display cabinet. Now the stairs go on. How do we do? Which order do we do these in? Okay, so it says to put the actual steps on first. They go on the not decorative side. So over here, line up with it. Okay, so it does line up down on that corner. Okay, now each steps do line up pretty tight here. Let's maybe give me a flat pieces here. So I know it's flat. So I can push down and line up. Yeah. Okay, I think that's give me enough of a lip there to pushing it. Yeah, that's gonna be my plan. And I'm tempted to go for the B7000 on this, but super glues it. I'm having such a good time with this tips, being able to control it and actually use it, having to wait around. Down in place, and up, and up, and pressure. I think the most important part is to make sure this part is flush, because that's the part that's actually going to be sitting down, and I think the steps are actually going to be sort of a, just, they're going to be there, I don't know how visible they're going to be. Yeah, that. Okay, dig it. Now, this guy goes underneath like somewhere through here, and this is along the back. So put the back on first, then we can line that up. And of course that means going into our square again. We are yeah, you did it. Yeah, this is the okay. This is gonna stack up here. Okay, so this goes on top of here, so we can find out for sure. So that goes on. Okay, flush with the back, so it's got a little lip on the front here. Is that supposed to be? So I need. Okay, oh, actually, there's a good picture of it. Yeah, debate tries to do all that to try and figure out which. Okay, so this goes on the inside. Should have looked for that first. So back to where we were. Yeah, I was right. So that's going to go in there, and this goes up against. Yeah, getting tight. Okay. Oh, get the glue out for that in a second. Okay, that's not gonna work. Let's see, I'll glue that back on. Maybe do it laying down. No, I'll lose my cool edge. That. And like that's gonna be the goal. Maybe we need. I think I'm going to take it in with the tweezers. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Tweezers. There. Place. There we go. Okay. Oop. Okay. That's good, I think. A little pressure. Make sure everything has a good chance to set up. Okay. Yep. Now, fix my boo-boo here. It's going to line up nice and neat. So, a little glue I can get to come out of this thing to dot on the end. There it goes. And in place. Yep. Oh. Okay. Quit sticking to me. Okay, be real gentle with that one. I'm going much later than I intended yet again. It looks like, I think, okay, so this thing's supposed to go across those arches there, so right where I just broke. Yeah, I think I'm going to bevel this edge a little bit with my files. A little more. It didn't look exactly level, or even close to level, so. Let's put a little bit of a angle on there. Yeah, sort of see it there. It shows up better there, I think. No, it's just rocking. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go for. So, so I got to put it on here. So I'm make sure I'm getting myself. Okay. Looks like it's at the on the wider bit. Okay. Clean the nozzle off here. And almost in it. Give it another 4 seconds. Okay. Now, definitely not going to start on that second set of stairs, but we will. Now this one, okay, so it says to line with the back. So we got, okay. So that, yeah, so that's evidently going to be the last step is on the front here. So that does look about right. And yeah, line it with the back. So we line, so we're doing this way. Almost good time to have a square. So that's what we're going with. Okay. Oh, we've got a few spots here we can do some glue. Very big structure, so I'm going to be a little more generous than I normally am. All the guys here. Okay, pressure up, pressure down. Just like that. Alright. I still made it barely under an hour. 15 minutes longer than my self-imposed limit, but that's, and I don't know which, I'm dreading if I had to put something on those shelves. Right, let's see. Bring in our little wands or whatever. This should be stable enough to move around now. Our clock and our little bottles, whatever, and along with the candles and basket of scrolls we made the other day. And of course, the big, the gold foil thing didn't turn out great, but it's still one of the better ones I've made. It actually has like some shape to the bristle, so I'm glad for that. Oh yeah, and our little wand here. Lots of little pieces and staircase, so I'm glad for that. And I'm still over the moon how this turned out from yesterday. If I don't break it. And everything else I got out here. But that is enough for tonight. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, subscribe, comment, complain, share. Do whatever you want to with all that. Be good to one another. Stay safe. And click on a link. There's my channel up there if you'd like to subscribe. There's my other channel if you want to see me do some experiments a couple of times a month. This is what YouTube thinks you should be watching, and that is a playlist for this build. I'll see you tomorrow.